Welcome. I'm Terry McGill. This is somewhere around November the 24th. It's year 2021. Am I in the right millennium? This is Who's Your Neighbor? This is an idea that grew up, was tossed out about 3 months ago, and I was kind of cold to it until I understood what it meant. We have, especially with COVID, we have invisible people. And then with social distancing and social isolation, we had more. We had a lot of issues grow larger because people couldn't handle that. They were surviving pre-COVID with the COVID rules. Ooh, what if you have a home situation that's not always that good, but you can leave and then you can't leave? Or the, anyway, this show is designed to let you know who's your neighbor. Who are the people? And, they don't have brand names. This is not Coca-Cola. This is not Ford or Maserati. This is not, what about the people that are the solid underpinnings of our community? One of them that I've known for some years is Luis Navarette. I remember when I first met him, he was the tallest and quietest Mexican I've ever met. He smiled and he just radiated light. And so we're at the metaphysical fair and I had my table up there and he was back in the corner and people would walk over to him and he put his hand on their head and then they would fall over. Well, they would just begin to tilt and he'd catch them and then he would do something else and they would move a different way. And I'm going, all right, when I get a lull, I'm going to go back and talk to him. And then he just asked me a couple of really gentle questions. And then I thought, well, I'll try this. And actually, he didn't put his hand on my head after all. I'm thinking of something. Anyway, I'm just standing there and all of a sudden it's like, whoo, I just start tilting. And so he held me. And then I forget what he did, but he's a neighbor that you need to meet. So I would like to introduce you now to Luis Navarette.
Hello.
Hey, Luis, my friend. I don't know how many years it's been now, 4, 5, 6.
Probably more than that.
Oh, time flies.
Yeah, we have been doing the Metaphysical Fair for 12 years now. Almost 12 years.
Wow. Then it's probably been about 10 or 11 years because I didn't come there right at the beginning.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And they've started it up again, haven't they? On Saturday, noon to 3.
Yes.
Yeah. So Matrix Energetics. Matrix was a movie, right?
Yes.
And energetics, how do the two go together?
Well, matrix energetics is one of several techniques that people can learn that is about tapping into the unknown with intention, the intention of just helping, being there, and allow things to happen. And that's basically what, transformation is. Whatever name you want to put in the technique, or even if somebody doesn't have a technique, is about, tapping or allowing ourselves to be into this magical place where time and space doesn't exist, and it just transformation happens. And in this case, when my client is transforming, well, I am transforming too, because we are connected. We all are connected. And, when somebody is better, all of us are better. And when somebody is not very good, all of us also in one way or another, we are connected and we suffer from that.
I heard someone the other day say that slightly differently, but might mean the same thing. Heal one, heal all.
Yeah. And also, we need to start healing ourselves first, because we always want the best for everybody else, but we are the most judgmental people for ourselves. We want to save the world, but we are not in a good place, or we live in misery, or we are worried, or we are living with lack of faith. It means that if we really want to do good for others, we need to start, doing well with us, with ourselves.
So there's really no way, if I'm hearing right, to understand how matrix energetics works. It's not like it's not like hooking a computer up to your automobile and tuning it up, huh?
No, it's more about connecting with the senses.
With
It's
what?
about disconnecting the mind and allow your senses to be there, to be present. It's allow for you to go into this magical place where things can just happen without the expectation that something will happen. Something will happen because there is an intention, a good intention for this to happen. But reality is, and I keep telling my clients over and over, I don't heal anybody because we heal ourselves. Ultimately, the decision is ours. The decision of being better, the decision to change, the decision to feel no pain, or the decision to be healthy. Um, but if I don't feel worth it, if I don't feel that I'm a good person, if I feel that I need to prove something to others or make others proud of myself, well, I'm working of creating the life for others, but not really creating the life for me, for myself. What do I really want? How can I just you know feed myself with the best, and from there just to allow myself to expand and offer everybody the best of me? It's easy to say it, but sometimes a little complex just to do it.
How long was your training, or are you still in training?
Well, the training never ends because we are always learning and learning. Plus, I also like to learn other techniques. There are other beautiful techniques like the Wonder Method, Quantum Touch. I'm not very familiar with Reiki. It's something that I would like to learn. But again, there is different ways to approach energy, and I'm so happy that there are so many because we are billions of people, and just expecting that one technique can fit everybody's needs is kind of like a little, too much.
Yeah. So um, you've had an experience with Dow Hands. When we spoke last, you were not very comfortable about something. Do you
Uh,
remember our call?
no, remind me a little.
Um, your heart was heavy. I could feel it.
Oh, yes, 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 yes. Yeah, well,
And
every time that I work with you is really an incredible experience. It's about exchanging energy and really help each other about to be better, to improve, to let go of the things that we don't need, basically. But yeah, it means every session that I have with you, I always enjoy it tremendously.
one of these days, I'm going to ask Karam actually to put the link into the chat room. Excuse me. Um, and that way, our listeners, and incidentally, the show will be archived. So, people, I was surprised. We usually won't have, but at the most, maybe a dozen that's watching at this particular time.
Hmm.
right now because we just started doing this like 2 months ago.
Wow.
So yeah, we haven't put all the notifications out there to all the different places yet. We're still
Uh-huh.
working on that because this just grew out of somebody's inspiration. Yeah, there's the MailChimp link. Um, so the Dow Center Portland offers trainings, um, and one can become what's called a Dow Healing Hands practitioner, and that's usually what you experience. And Tao is source, and the hands is like you get the transmission into one hand or the other, but that's where source comes through or connects with you because I know it's not me, and I know you know the same thing. It's like it's we go. What did you call it? We go into that. There's no place.
Um, I call it I'm going into the magic place. I'm going into the place where I feel comfortable. I feel in peace. It's a place where I don't need to be worried about anything and just allow magic to happen. And, it's basically that. Of course, for some people it's easier because we have the ability. I always tell people that anybody can do this, yes, but it's like playing the piano. There are some people that really have the skill to play piano very easily. Well, in my case, for me, it's something that, as you said, it just comes in the hands, and I can feel the energy in the hands, and I can feel the movement. And when I connect with my client, and I just, sense and feel and experience so many different things, and I just allow myself to follow without judgment what I'm sensing, what I'm feeling, and for the benefit of my clients.
What I can tell our listeners is that you're a concert pianist, to use your example.
You are
I,
very kind. Thank you.
I'm telling the truth.
Thank you.
I have never, no, I have rarely met anyone who has the level of whatever it is, magic, that you do. One of our guests last week has a different kind of magic. Um, Leslie Zemanek. I met her. She was what do you call it? A hand reader, not a palm reader. I was used to that. Fingerprints, I knew about, when I worked for the police bureau. But what's this about hand reading? Um, so she has a way of connecting with people, and it's just fascinating. You're fascinating because the way that you're both so different, but you both have levels of magic.
And it's not amazing that we are different, that we can experience energy and transformation in so many different ways. And I always say that that is what make us so rich in this experience, because we can go to one practitioner and feel or sense energy in one way, and we can go to another practitioner and feel it and sense it in a completely different way. um, and I just love it. And, like I said, we are billions of people. It means that we need to have way infinite number of transformation.
So I just saw two emails today that there are going to be. There was two different posts saying by Regina, um, about metaphysical fair. So when can people find you and where?
Yes, I'm very often at the Metaphysical Fair. It happens at the new Renaissance bookstore on Northwest 23rd.
So that's in Portland, Oregon. For those of you who are not familiar, New
Yes,
Renaissance Bookstore, Northwest
yes.
23rd. Um,
And the fair happens the second Saturday of the month, and is from noon to 3 in the afternoon. Unfortunately, next month I won't be able to be there because I'm going to Mexico to visit friends and family. But yes, it's the second Saturday of the month, and they are beautiful practitioners. It's a pretty small fair. It's only 6 practitioners, but we have a pretty nice diverse. You were part of that fair for a long, long time, and I hope one day you are coming back. Um, but yeah, it's very
COVID
magical.
rules, the COVID restrictions right now, it's like I just I'm not ready yet.
Good. Well, when you are ready, when it's time, it's time.
So
Um,
so you'll be back though in February.
I will be back on January because this month
Oh,
is
that's right.
November.
This
Yes,
is only November. We're still in November.
yes.
So you'll be there the second Wednesday. No,
The second Saturday.
second Saturday. This is Wednesday.
Yes.
Yeah. So you'll be there in January at New
Yes.
Renaissance Bookstore in Northwest Portland.
Yes.
And that's pretty easy to look up on the web because when we start typing in new and Renaissance, it'll auto populate. It'll say, "Did you mean to spell it this way?" I
Yes.
love how they correct my misspelling. I
Me
don't know how
too.
to spell some of these words that I look for. I had never heard of that. What is it? I spelled it wrong. Do you mean this? And they'll give me 15 options in, 0.03 seconds.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, one or twice a month, I do sessions at the store. The store normally has every day a practitioner at the event center that is just next to the store.
So
And normally,
that's that
uh,
new Renaissance bookstore.
yes,
And once or twice a month. So they can call in.
yes, they can call directly the store
Great.
and make
So
an
Karen,
appointment.
I'm talking to our producer here. Karen, if you can put the phone number in, I've phoned them so many times I got it memorized. 503 224 4929.
And because I'm going to Mexico next month, I won't be doing sessions for the rest of the year, but I'm planning to go back to start doing sessions on January.
So when are you leaving?
I'm leaving, I think it's the 6th of December.
And
And
this is the 24th of November.
I
So if
know.
somebody really wanted to get dialed in, could they possibly call you before you leave?
Yes, they can call my phone. I'm just always ask people to be very patient because besides the energy healing work that I do, I also work for an organization in the organ donation program and I work 24-hour on-call schedules.
Whoa.
Yes, it's sometimes a little too much, but it's a beautiful, wonderful, you know, way to help others. It
That's an
has
incredible service.
Yes, it has a beautiful purpose that really fills my soul. And what I do is I directly work with families at the hospitals in the organ donation process with
Wow.
the donor families.
With the donors,
Yes,
that has to be very special person. And I know you have that quality. I've known you for longer than I remember.
thank you. The organization that I work with is really wonderful. I work with incredible people, and we are here to serve the community, and this is another way to serve the community besides the energy healing sessions. And I just, I feel very lucky and very privileged to work for the community and helping the community and
That's
making
an
my,
incredible service.
my life having a purpose.
Yeah. I know a woman who has been waiting for a kidney or two. Uh, and she's, as you might probably know, she's been on dialysis for
Yeah.
2 years. Um, yeah. Had a
Yes.
fundraiser. And I noticed that our producer has put New Renaissance Bookstore, the name, correct spelling of the name, Took me a while to learn how to spell that Renaissance. Knew I was
Me
good
too.
at it, but yeah. Uh, so I believe that our producer has your personal phone number too.
Yes,
If they can put, there it is on the screen, and I know they'll be putting it over in the chat room here in a moment. So that
correct.
will be there. Um, it'll be archived, and it'll be there for people to see. Don't change your phone number.
No, I have the same number, I don't know, for probably 20 years.
Wow. I like that you can change. We can change our telephone company now and keep the same number.
Yes, that is fantastic.
That's
Yes,
so helpful.
yes, 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 indeed.
Yeah. So, Luis, I'm always, when I hear you speaking, it just, my heart opens more. The quality of your voice is, well, we're all unique, but your voice has, I remember when I first met you, or somewhere back then, I can just remember thinking, oh, that's Luis, because I could hear your voice when you were speaking to somebody else. There's a quality about your voice, and you may or may not know it because we usually don't know how we come across to others. So your voice carries this organ donor job, calling. It's more than a job, boy.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, and I could hear that in your voice. Um, it must be so comforting to people who are at that phase of their life or a loved one's life to hear you. Um, you
Well,
have a,
definitely when I work with families, I'm there, I'm present for them. Um, as an energy healer, what I can do is just hold the space for them, and for the family also, because definitely they are very difficult moments. um, Organ donation is very rare to happen. Less than 1% of the people dying in hospitals can become organ donors. um, it means for us to go and approach a family when the time is right, of course, about organ donation is and I always tell the families, is a privilege, is an honor working with them in the process of saving somebody else's life.
I saw a video. Um, I can't remember if the person was getting married or what it was, but she was getting married. That's what it was. And before the ceremony, she'd had a heart donation. Before the ceremony, um, they said, somebody had set this up. They said, we would like you to meet someone. Well, I'm choking up thinking about it. It was the father of the son who had
Mm.
donated the heart to the young girl, like, 8 or 10 years before. And she'd now, got the boy's heart, grown up, and was getting married because, and here was the father. And it was so touching, especially when she said, would you like to feel your son's heart? And she
Wow.
took his hand and put it on her chest. And, yeah, the guy just broke into tears.
Yes, yes, yes. Unfortunately, the situations that normally lead for us to approach a family, they are very tragic, because they are normally or accidents or a
Yeah.
heart attack or a stroke, and this is very sudden, and the families are devastated. And I you know it's always amazing for me to see that in so much pain how generous people are, even in on those very, very hard moments. when the family say yes, we want for this to happen, we want to help others. I just cry. I just, very, very often I cry with the families, because it's just such an incredible, magical time. And again, it's just, they teach me to be generous, really. Um, they teach me how to give more, even, when you feel sometimes that life is taking you everything. It's taking your husband or your wife or your son or your daughter, or and even on those moments when they say yes, it's kind of like keep going. And sometimes families say no, and we also have to accept it, because again, it's just too much, and we understand organ donation is not for everybody, but we really try to explain the uniqueness of the process, and especially the results of
It's
moving
very
forward.
interesting. My driver's license and my wife's both says yes, organ donor, but I had no, uh, I had so little awareness until just now.
Yeah. Yes. It's a very complex process. Like I said, there are so many factors that needs to happen for a person to become an organ donor. But we hope that we don't have to have those conversations with the families. But again, when it happens, definitely, it's with all our respect, and and we give to them our 110%, because they are giving us everything.
Yeah. Wow. So this is the two, well, not the two, this is two of the facets of Luis Navarette, an amazing being that our listeners can touch bases with, connect with if they're around the Portland metro area without being in a hospital. They can meet you, they can call you, and your phone number, our producer has posted it over in the chat room, so that'll be up forever. Uh,
Yes, thank you. And if
and
people can just be a little patient, if I cannot answer immediately, or text messages actually works better for me.
oh, yeah, text messages. Please text Luis before calling because he may have just come off of trying 24 hours and maybe sleeping.
Yes, yes,
Yeah. But
sometimes.
but they can also come, that would be January the second Saturday from noon to 3 if they want to come to Portland, Oregon. What's the furthest someone has come to be with you for for a session?
In person, I
Yeah.
have a lady. I She knew about me. She lived in Canada, at the East Coast. I forgot exactly which city, but she flew. She has family living in Vancouver, and for her 80th birthday, she came for a session. That was her treat. She treated herself with a session
That's
for her.
3,000 miles.
Yes, I just couldn't believe it. I seriously couldn't believe it, how she wanted just to have a session with me, and celebrate her 80th birthday.
80th. Wow.
Yes,
Wow. Well, Luis, I hope you're around past 80.
yes, me too.
And we're coming to the end of our time.
Thank
We
you.
always like to end before people want to leave. So they'll say, "Oh, can you bring him back?"
Good. It will be my pleasure. Thank you.
So,
Thank you for
Luis,
the invitation.
thank you so much. Um, I've said it earlier. Luis is someone that every time I connect with him, my heart opens more. Even if say, "Hey, how you been?" And somebody posted in the chat room, soothing, calming. Yeah, yeah. So he does what he calls matrix energetics. But it's just a name for a process. We all, as people, the healers, because I'll call him a healer, although he would say, "Well, I don't do it, you do it." Um, we need these people in our lives, and that's what this show is about. This is for me to connect, or in this case, reconnect. Um, uh, and I collaborate with them, talk with them, bring them on the show, and it's so that you can include them in your life if there's a change that you would like. And there's such a variety every week. Everyone's different and they're coming from different places and doing different things. Last week, it was a palm reader who's doing more than that. She's working with solopreneurs, launching a specialized facet of something that she's been doing for over 20 years. She's a miracle worker. Luis, I've experienced whatever it is. Um, I have, I feel it, unwindings going on inside of me. And I also mentioned earlier, um, Luis had, I just felt there was something that wasn't, he just seemed, tired and a little off balance. And I said, what's going on? And would you like a Dow Hands blessing? So you can receive one instantly. Well, you're going to have to click on the link that's over here. It's the one that says https, MailChimp.mp. Yeah. And at the end it says intro to Dow Hands. So if you go there, you can there it is. It's on the screen too, but it's easier to copy and paste off the chat. If you go there and click on, you may not be able to click on that link. I don't know if that's active right there, but if you copy and paste it and get to that page, you can receive a 10-minute Dow Hands blessing for some facet of your life. What are Dow Hands? Well, Tao is source or creator, God, Yahweh, Allah. Names for what's beyond our comprehension. And the hands part means, when we get the transmission, it comes into our hand, and then we don't do the blessing. What comes through to people is the change that you're ready for, because we have free will and your unconscious knows it, and it won't happen if you aren't ready for it, if you aren't willing. But if you'd like a free gift to experience that, then you can go there. And if you'd like to become a Dow Hands practitioner down the road, the steps are there. You can see the videos that other people have put up too about their experiences. I love the one. You go look. It's very exciting to read some of those. It's like, wow, really? Yeah. So thank you for dialing in. Thank you for your comments. You're welcome. I love doing these because it opens my heart more. I've had Oregon, not Oregon, that's the state I live in. I've had organ donor on my driver's license. I don't know how many years, but I got it. Boy, I got it at a whole new level tonight. Next week, oh yes, Shen Therapy. So Shen is a type of therapy, and this is a very interesting name, Aliel. A-L-E-L, that's her first name. Aliel is another magician. And this woman explained, I asked her once, I said, how'd you learn this? And man, the training that she went through was like getting a PhD. But she's magic. Doesn't have a PhD, She's got some other letters behind her name that says she's a Shen therapist. So connect with Luis. Go back last week and connect with Leslie Zemanek. Go back to the first one and connect with Candace. Look at them all. Every one of these people, I am so privileged to either meet them or have known them and catch up on with Candace. I think I've known her 25 years. Miracle woman. She healed herself. But I'm going to ramble along all night if I don't stop. So thank you for dialing in and listening or watching the recording. Look at the other ones. You can tell on the Facebook page which ones are Who's Your Neighbor, because they'll show a clock, except for the first one. We didn't do the clock on the first one. So thank you. I invite you back, 7:30 next Wednesday. That's Pacific time, Portland, Oregon. Every Wednesday at 7:30. And until then, aloha, ciao, sayonara. That's about the extent of my languages. Good night.